Hitting the Trail for Hallelujah Land is one of Warner Brothers' Censored 11 cartoons. Censored 11, if you're unfamiliar with them, are 11 cartoons by Warner Brothers that were removed from syndication in the 60s because of racial connotations, or just blatant racism in some cases. And I've seen some of these, and a couple of them I thought were, really dangerously racist. And some of them actually not so much. For example, Coal Black actually had a lot of black people celebrating it afterwards. A lot of black people actually worked on the creation of it and provided advice about the music. But obviously, when you don't have that context, it does come across as racist. I honestly don't have that much context about Hitting the Trail for Hallelujah Land. If anybody can enhance my knowledge and provide me a little bit of information about his creation, that would be really useful. But I'm judging this purely based on viewing it. And to be honest, even if you take out the racial aspects, it's not that interesting. Not that racism makes it interesting, but there's not that much about this cartoon that I think is worth discussing. We have these two characters, Piggy and Fluffy. Piggy does resemble Mickey Mouse quite a lot, and the bits that are interesting that I have to talk about all relate to Disney. Piggy emulates Steamboat Willie at one point, and we also see these skeletons dancing very much like the skeleton dance we get from Disney. And it was blatant parodying, of course. And I love the skeleton dance, and I really love the classic Mickey Mouse and the Steamboat Willie. So those bits were interesting, but a film shouldn't be interesting just because of what it's parodying when it's not in itself a full parody. Basically, these two characters, Piggy and Fluffy, are on this journey going to goodness knows where. They're heading down this river, and to be honest, I wasn't emotionally connected in where they were going. I think it was very unclear why they were doing this and what the point was. Not that I felt like that was what was being focused on, because let's face it, when you have this character, Uncle Tom, as he is called, blatantly representing your derogatory Uncle Tom character, and Uncle Tom being a derogatory term for a black individual who not worships white people, that's the wrong word. For a black individual, you presume, once upon a time, a black slave, of course, who would do anything he could to get the approval of white people. Obviously a very derogatory term, and here we have this character of Uncle Tom representing that, and I can completely see with this particular cartoon why it was censored. But even if it wasn't censored, I don't think it's a very good cartoon. I think the narrative is all over the place. I think they maybe were relying on the character of Uncle Tom to carry the narrative, or lack thereof, because I guess he would be quite a fascinating character to some individuals. When Piggy and Fluffy get off of this boat and they get to their destination, we have these individuals playing instruments. And to be honest, I read somewhere, I don't know where I read this, but I read somewhere that they were meant to be blackface, characters doing blackface. But I didn't pick up on that when I was watching it. I thought they were just meant to be animated black characters, stereotypical black characters. So I don't know if that's definitely true, that they had characters doing blackface. I guess it's kind of hard to show white characters doing blackface in a black and white animation. So maybe it is. If you know if that's for certain, please feel free to let me know. I'd be very keen to find out. Because if that is the case, then this just really takes this to a new extreme. And then we have characters, skeletons interacting with the Uncle Tom character, which is well animated. You know, I will say credit where it's due. It's not the sharpest animation, but I feel like it was edited quite well. There's some good detail, some good shading. For a black and white cartoon, there's a good amount of detail in it. But unfortunately, what's happening on screen is very questionable. So I thought Piggy and Fluffy's journey was completely not interesting and very dull. Uncle Tom as a character is unfortunately the most interesting part about this. And that he's only interesting from an analytical, historical perspective, looking back on it to see how they have treated this character and how they've interpreted him. Also, according to Wikipedia, Uncle Tom is a canine. I don't see that at all. Uncle Tom to me does not look like a dog in this. I watched it and I was doing research about it, and It's like, Canine Uncle Tom. Really? That's meant to be a dog? So maybe it's not the best animated. Hittin the Trail for Hallelujah Land is just a problematic cartoon all around. It's not well developed. In parts it's well animated, but clearly in other parts not so much. It parodies elements of Disney, which I like. I like it when people parody Disney because I'm a big Disney fan. But it doesn't parody Disney so much that you can enjoy it as a parody. And unfortunately, while I think some of the censored 11 are not that bad and shouldn't have been censored, I can definitely see why Hittin the Trail for Hallelujah Land was censored.